Eyewitnesses at the premises of the alleged invasion of the Nigeria Labour House headquarters in Abuja have disputed claims of an invasion by the NLC by personnel of the Department of State Services. The NLC in a statement accused security operatives of illegally raiding its office without a valid search warrant over the ongoing End Bad Governance protests. Our correspondent Idong Joseph visited the NLC facility and filed this report.
This is a brief conversation with eyewitnesses who were on the ground when the alleged raid of the National Secretariat of the Nigerian Labour Congress happened last night. After unsuccessful efforts to get occupants and security personnel guarding the facility to speak to us on camera, we had to rely on this recording.
DSS. You say whether they don't check the man for house, they don't see the man. That's why they come to the man office.
They come to the office whether you know the man ask. I don't even know the man. I don't even know the man.
A white guy, where is that white guy? That was what he said, was asked. Contrary to the statement that the NLC had issued this morning, saying that it was its office.
News Central television crew made another effort to get the NLC to respond to its press release, stating that their national secretariat was ransacked, alleging that the invading security operatives claimed they were looking for seditious materials used for the hashtag End Bad Governance protest. The General Secretary of the NLC explained to us their side of the story.
They should. Why, if they knew that it was an individual using it in that place, what were they looking for at the 10th floor? 10th floor is occupied solely by Nigerian Labour Congress. That's where both the General Secretary and President stay. We had closed and gone home. They went and abducted our security man from the 10th floor, took him to the 2nd floor at gunpoint, and then kept him to watch them smash and cut away things. So what do you expect us to say? Well, we should bring out the red carpet for them or drums.
While the NLC is insisting that the DSS was responsible, the Department of State Services, through its X handle, denied the allegation.
People that came there in the night, you want me to go to where people came to visit in the night when I have gone? With the kind of equipment and facilities they brought, we don't have that capacity. Until they come out and say what they have done, and then tell the world that the place is safe for us, we won't go there now.
The case in question becomes another fallout from the hashtag End Bad Governance protest, which is expected to end on August the 10th. In Abuja for News Central, I am Idong Joseph.
We'll be talking about this some more right after this short break. Remember that you can join us on, looking at all the conversations about the NLC, and then at the end of the day, we'll have not just Idong Joseph join us, but we'll also have guests to analyze the story. But also just to remind our audience that you can be a part of the conversation, and you can be a part of it by joining us at News Central TV on all platforms. And when we, maybe much later when we open the phone lines, you can call in. But let's go.
Many questions to be asked. Yeah. The NLC claims that it's the DSS. The DSS says they have no, hand in it. The report says that, it was a particular individual that, the people who came, were searching for. I'm wondering if there's no CCTV cameras at the NLC's, office. Right. That might have been able to help, clarify some of these.
On a lighter note, you know what it reminds me of? The song, Who Stole the Meat from the Cooking Pot? Number one stole, oh, me, not you. Yeah, it wasn't me. Anyway, we're going to break it. When we come back, we'll look into this conversation. Stay with us.
The Nigerian Labour Congress NLC headquarters was raided by security agents, reportedly, on Wednesday night, sparking widespread condemnation. The Department of State Services, DSS, denies involvement, but the NLC described the incident as dangerous to the nation's democracy and called for an international inquiry.
The raid has been condemned by various individuals and organizations, including former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, the Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi, Amnesty International, and the International Trade Union Confederation, ITUC. The NLC has directed its employees to stay away from the office and is demanding answers on who carried out the raid and why. We're joined this morning by the former Deputy President, NLC, Comrade Amechi Asuguni. Good morning, and thank you for joining us.
Good morning. You're welcome.
All right. Can you give us a picture of what exactly has happened? We're seeing multiple reports from the NLC and from the DSS denying involvement, but what information do we have concerning the raid?
It remained blind because to NSC, they believe strongly that nobody would have done that other than security agency under the command of federal government. And therefore, it remained a picture of threat to NSC as a body. That act is embarrassing. It's also, it tried to undermine the integrity of organized labor in Nigeria, where you did not write to NSC to come for inspection if there was anything as regarding information that is required to contradict security. So coming to invade the NSC premises, even at the odd hours, is suspicious to date. And the NSC is asking to know why what happened. Because if a clear answer is not given, they will continue to believe that they have planted something against the arrival of Congress leadership. And it's not fair for Nigeria.
Yeah, I mean, but can you verify that, that raid was carried out by members of the DSS?
Because they did not come like armed robbers, and they appeared to be security agency, and because they didn't also come with any identified uniform to at least show that this is a particular agency in question. And we all know how DSS operate. And that is why the first point of call is on DSS. So them denying should also use the intelligence to tell us what happened. Because they will not also say that the wing of NLC in Abuja is also not covered by the security intelligence in that regard. So what happened? Could that be men, unknown gunmen? What are we saying? So security agencies should deploy the intelligence to tell Nigeria what happened and why did it happen. Because if they had come to rob NSC, the question is, what will you rob from Congress office? Are you coming to carry their chair or table? Because it's not a bank. It's not a place whereby you rob of furniture or whatever. So people will wonder, nobody would have done that other than a recognized security agency coming for a purpose. And don't forget, one is for evasion to be done to plant. Evasion can also be done to discover. So nobody had known what they have come to do. So Congress strongly, because of their innocence to whatever allegation they may try to claim, is now insisting that they should tell them what they have come to plant at their secretariat. Because should anything happen after today, there's no two ways. Even the international community will support Congress to allege that the first suspect, the principal suspect in this regard is security agents.
Do we know exactly?
But they got their way through to the office.
Do we know exactly what was in the materials that were carted away? Because just like that tweet showed, it said the report said that they got to the 10th floor and then they ransacked all the properties. According to the report by spokesperson Vice Ukpeseraye, said the heavily armed security operatives broke into the 2nd floor and ransacked the bookshop. So we're seeing here the tweet 2nd floor and 10th floor. He said they ransacked the bookshop, carting away hundreds of books and other publications that they claimed they were looking for seditious materials used for the End Bad Governance protest. So do you have an idea what were in the materials that were carried away by these operatives?
No, I may not. In fact, even the HOD information that I spoke to you, the best in Akbar, is saying so because it's difficult until they carry out due inspection of what was taken away. That is when you can ascertain document that they would have claimed or they would have gone away with. But I tell you, when you say you are looking for seditious document or materials used for embargo, one would wonder, was NSC behind the organizers for such bad government protests? And if NSC choose to, What material are we looking at? What are you looking at as material worse than the protest that is being carried out? Evidence of what protest is saying is the speech made by organizers of protesters. So trying to distract Nigerians by undermining a reputable organization like NLC goes a long way to tell us that there is also a threat to Nigerian integrity, because whatever we do, it's not limited to the borders of this country. It's beyond. And we shouldn't give such impression that anybody can wake up and do anything in democracy, meaning we are not protected. NLC should be protected as a reputable organization in this country that has the voice of many Nigerians. And then you don't just attack a building for purposes of what you think is security reason. Because no matter what, why are they now shy in taking responsibility? Because they also know the implication. Probably because they didn't get anything they needed. Maybe somebody would have informed them wrongly and they went to the wrong place. And in order not to express that kind of disappointment in professionalism, and somebody is saying they are denying their involvement. The question is, who did it?
Yeah.
So I think NLC will do everything possible to ascertain other materials beyond books, whether there are other valuables that were also taken away, because you never can tell until the whole department head take account of what is missing in their respective department before we actually know what is actually missing.
Yeah. Also, let's also speak about the one of the reasons that the NLC's report is saying might be or might have led to, of course, this raid. Do you know what extent of support the NLC had for the End Bad Governance protest?
To the best of my knowledge, End Bad Government protest, which is still ongoing, is a protest organized and enforced by Nigerians. And like I said in my previous press release, nobody should make effort to deny, discourage, or even frustrate effort to protest, because it's constitutional. So NLC has right to support protest if they wish to, and they also have right to withhold their support if they don't also wish. But I tell you, the ongoing protest has nothing to do with personalizing it to institution or individual. Anybody, including me, can lead a protest. I've led protests in the past, and I'm not tired. I'm willing to lead protests that will bring better governance to Nigeria. So nobody should threaten anybody or try to now be handpicking people because they are advocating for good governance. No, the protest is not seeking to remove anybody in power. The protest is seeking to address economic issues. And I think they should focus their energy in responding to the demand of Nigerians and not to create this kind of distraction that has no result to Nigeria. No, NLC have right to support protests, and they even have right to initiate. Don't forget, when we talk about bad governance, we talk about policies that negate the well-being of the people. And when we talk about well-being of the people, we're referring to Nigerian workers. And that is the core mandate of NLC, defending the right and the interest, welfare of their members. And any policies that make life hard for their people, they should do everything within their constitution and legitimacy to ensure.
All right, permit me to interject at this point, because I want you to clarify something for us. You said the NLC has the right to support the protest. Now, earlier we did see publications where the NLC dissociated itself from the protest. So are you saying now that the NLC supported the End Bad Governance protest?
Maybe you didn't understand. They have right to, and I emphasize, NLC have right is different from NLC supported. NLC have right to initiate even protest, not to even support, to initiate and lead a protest from the front. So if they choose not to, in this regard, they have released publication, they have released their position that in this protest they are not behind it, neither are they taking part. So if NLC did not take part and they are still investigating NLC whether they took part, it may even provoke NLC to deliberately take part And I'm saying they have right if they choose to do so.
Okay. So you've highlighted now that the NLC, from what I get, they have the right, but they did not support the End Bad Governance protest. All right. Let's talk about...
I mean, share with us, is there a reason why they didn't support the protest?
I may not tell, but from experience, I would imagine that they just concluded the national minimum wage and it was signed into law less than 1 month. And therefore, having concluded negotiation with the government, don't forget, they were threats to shut down operation before the minimum wage was signed. So concluding a minimum wage and then joining a protest after 2 weeks does not seem reasonable for them. So even though the hardship protest is still legitimate and timing, but to them it was not timing to join, because don't forget, NLC is an organization. It's not just the protest is about the people. NLC is about the institution. So they have a constitution, they have a policy that guide their action. So I believe they would have been justified by one thing at a time. So concluding negotiation and going into struggle or protest may not align, because some of these things entails money.
And is there a possibility that
they are working with time?
And is there a possibility that if the DSS still insists that it had no hand in this attack of the or this raiding of the NLC headquarters, that the NLC might then decide to go on the protest?
No, first thing is not protest. First thing, NLC, I believe in their options, should be considering writing to the entire agencies of government to actually tell them what happened and why it happened. The NLC cannot fold their hand. NLC have qualified lawyers and other department heads that will make serious undertaking to ensuring that they get to the root of the matter. What has happened is not simple. It's very sensitive, because before that act was carried out, there must be a strong directive from the top. No commissioner of police can dare Nigeria Labour Congress. So certainly that must be ordered from above. And therefore, NLC would want to investigate to the extent of meeting with the IG and every other security apparatus in ensuring that we don't just say, let the bygone be bygone. Nothing is bygone until they actually review what happened. So they will take steps to know what happened. And if it's now targeted that it was done to undermine Congress, they may request for apology, or maybe it may result to a warning protest so that it doesn't also repeat. I know Congress that those options are not far from what they may consider. But for now, it's a security matter. It's sensitive to talk of protest now. Rather, they have to know the source that actually did this, because don't forget, there could be camera around that area to take recognition of faces. If I thought the local security could not in their capacity dictate the agency proper. Further investigation through neighborhood and all the rest may give solution as they come by, because today, I believe before the end of today, we will get more information regarding what happened.
All right. Comrade, thank you so much for joining us. And we must mention that the NLC has strongly criticized the government's response to the protest, stating that there needs to be investigation done and that the loss of lives be accounted for. We've just been joined by the former Deputy President of the NLC, Comrade Amici Asuguni. Thank you for your time with us.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
All right. We'll go on a break, and when we return, we'll be talking about some of our other top stories. Stay with us. In a bid to hold more meaningful, truthful conversations that can bring about change in our nation, News Central's TV is introducing a new show on YouTube, and it's called Declassified. Now, let's take a look.
Who is profiting from these financial outlays? Banditry and kidnapping in the country have turned into a lucrative venture. Could it be that some of the sponsors are truly closer to power than we initially imagined? A former government official was not ashamed to publicly declare the efforts he and his friends did put together to do a GoFundMe for kidnappers. Why are we feasting with our killers instead of bringing them to justice? What is to stop these bandits from roaming the streets when they know that instead of bullets, they will get bags of money for taking people hostage? Schools are no longer safe. No region is safe anymore. Who is profiting from the insecurity in life?
Joining us is the host of Declassified, John Bella. Good morning. Thank you for joining us. Congratulations on the launch of your new show. How does it feel?
I feel excited. Thank you. Thank you so much. My name is Jude Bella, by the way.
Jude Bella, thank you very much. So talk to us, Jude, about what to expect regarding the show, what the show is about, what informed the show.
Well, Declassified is meant to discuss important issues that affect the everyday Nigerian. Our country right now, the state of things seems to be in progressive decline, if permit me to use that word, because from each government, it seems the last one is always expected to be hailed as better than the next. So we have to find a way to hold these leaders accountable, to discuss what they have done and let the people know that the leaders are responsible for the state of the nation and not relying on some prayers as they are always telling us to do. So in a bid to bring this discussion to the people, we decided to start Declassified so that we can talk about some of the very important issues that people are not paying so much attention to. Yeah.
Now, talk about, the level of interest that you believe that Nigerians have, with this type of conversations.
I didn't get that.
I'm asking, what do you think is the level of interest that Nigerians generally have, with regards to these types of conversations?
Okay, well, currently, I think Nigerians are beginning to wake up, especially seeing what is happening with the End Bad Governance protest. Nigerians are beginning to show more interest in politics, which is a good thing. From the last election, we saw that a lot of people turned out. A lot of people wanted their voices to be heard, and they rallied around their preferred candidates. Even though INEC, for whatever reason, people felt disappointed with the results of that election, and seeing how the government has been going since that time, people are beginning to voice out their concerns, which means a lot of Nigerians are showing more interest in politics, which makes these conversations more important now, more than ever, because people now want to know what is happening in their government, what their governors are doing, what their senators are doing, and how it affects their daily life.
Jude, what is the feeling and the emotion that you want Nigerians in Nigeria and in the diaspora to take away when they watch this show? What steps would you like to see after they have watched this show?
Well, I believe we are running a democracy. And this story about insecurity in the country, for example now, if someone is placed in charge of the country's defense and people are being kidnapped for business, people are being killed every day. You hear stories of kidnapping, of insecurity, our roads are not safe. I think the people that voted these guys into office and the guys inadvertently put these people in office, the people should be able to hold their leaders accountable, demand accountability from them and say, okay, because we are not happy with what is happening now, we want answers from you, and not just seeing the news like some entertainment or just sit down and put their hands and watch. I want the people to watch this show and not just take it as entertainment purpose. When we say that, okay, we have a report of a government official stealing or looting this sum of money, we shouldn't just see it as a loot. This term, money laundering, looting, is stealing, and we shouldn't allow thieves to be in office. So if we say a former governor looted so sum of money, and that person is now running for a Senate seat. That shouldn't happen. The person should answer to the people. The people should be able to demand for accountability from their leaders, which is the basic essence of this show. Because with this information being made available to them now, they can demand accountability from their leaders. Yeah.
Also tell us about, why the name Declassified. Is there a particular reason? And then also, are there specific topics that you will be targeting with this program?
Yeah, the name Declassified is actually, I picked that up from the CIA files, when they have CIA classified information that are unknown to the people, and the government decided to declassify them for people to know. So that was where the name was inspired from. A lot of Nigerians claim not to know this information, even though a lot of them are available there. So with lots of research and talking to people, we're able to make this available to them. So it's kind of like declassifying it for them. Yeah. So that's where the name comes from.
Okay. I mean, I like the name. I find it very interesting. I was taken back in time to like a number of the CIA movies we watched and how certain information. So I do not have the clearance for that, but now you're helping us get the clearance to information that we ordinarily might not have had. Jude, when can we see this show? Where can we see this show? And how can viewers participate with the show?
Well, our first episode for this one comes live tonight on News Central TV on YouTube. You can find it also on our other social media platforms. Yeah, so we intend to bring it every 2 weeks, and Fridays basically will be when we air in the evenings. I think 6:30 p.m. is the time for the show.
All right.
Is it? I mean, I just really want to have an idea of what people should expect mostly. And I had initially asked, if there were certain aspects that the show was going to be targeting, certain types of conversations, and how much research also is being put in, to provide the information that the show is going to be presented.
Yeah, I forgot that your question. Yeah, so we're going to be talking about political related topics, holding our leaders accountable. So the topics we'll focus basically on politics, and also we hope to talk about issues that affect Africa generally and not just Nigeria as well. We see people talking about Pan-Africanism. We would like to make them understand what that means and how it affects the whole continent of Africa. Also, when we come back home now, we want to talk about our leaders and not just focusing on the presidency now, because this whole bad leadership, something we're talking about, is across board. It affects our state house of assemblies, affects our senators, our governors, and even now that we have a local government autonomy, we have to try and look into those places as well to see what they are doing with the resources of Nigeria. So that is what the viewers should expect from the show.
Right. So we start today, Friday at 6:30 p.m., right? News Central,
yes, we start
YouTube,
today.
YouTube platform, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, all our social media platforms. Declassified is coming to you. We're fastening our seatbelts and we look forward to an amazing launch. Congratulations, Jude. We'll see you on the other side of the show. We'll see you on YouTube at 6:30 p.m.
Thank you so much.
Nigerian cyclist Ese Lovina Ukpeseraye faced a challenge at the Paris Olympics yesterday. Ukpeseraye didn't have a bicycle for the carrying and sprint events, and she noted that on her X account that this was due to short notice given to her.
However, the German cycling team showed sportsmanship by offering her a bicycle to use. Ukpeseraye expressed gratitude for their support, highlighting the Olympic spirit of unity and assistance among athletes. Joining us is a News Central's correspondent at the Paris Olympics, Yemi Galadima. Good morning, Yemi.
Yeah, good morning.
Thanks for joining us. Pretty embarrassing when that story broke yesterday, of course, when she cried out. And of course, it adds to the list of things that maybe have embarrassed the Nigerian Olympic Committee generally. But what can you say about this particular incident? I see that the Minister of Sports has responded and clarified exactly why things may have played out like that. It was an impromptu invitation to participate in sport, according to him. But tell us what you know.
Yeah, just like the speech said, that was not an event that we had qualified in earlier, and so it was sort of like a last-minute thing, because it was a road event we had earlier qualified for, not the track event, and so that was why things played out the way they did yesterday.
All right. What would you say has been, I mean, yes, it was last minute. To an extent, at first glance, the first thing we see is, oh, we feel a bit embarrassed. Like, why did we have to borrow the bicycle? But what would you say have been some of the sour points and some of the sweet spots? So let's start with the bad news first, then we get to the good news. Some of the sour spots for...
So just repeat your question, please.
All right. I was saying, what would you say are some of the sour points and the sweet spots for Nigerians at the Paris Olympics? If you can run through some of the maybe embarrassing or sad situations you see have occurred so far, and then some of the ones that are really exciting.
I think it's actually the fact that it's 2 days to the end of the Olympics and we are yet to win a single medal. That is not a good showing at all from a country with the population and potential we have. And seeing smaller countries, yesterday Botswana won a gold in. And we've seen smaller African countries, winning medals. Zambia won a medal in the men's 400 meters after 28 years. So seeing things like that, and then people asking you, how come Nigeria has not won a medal, it can be quite embarrassing. But then we also look at some people who have made history for us. We saw Samuel Ogazi in the men's 400 meters making the Olympic final since 1988. No Nigerian man has made the Olympic final in the 400 meters. So that is great history. We had 3 women in the long jump yesterday, long jump final. It has never happened for us before. So looking at just those small bright sparks sort of makes quite a good story for us. But overall, I think we should be doing better, much, much better.
Yeah, I think the Tigress also should be mentioned as one of the things that have happened well for Nigeria.
Definitely, making history for Africa.
Yeah, Toby
Both men and women, the first team to qualify for the quarterfinals at the Olympics.
Yeah.
First African team.
Yeah, fantastic. And Toby Amusan, I think, is also hopeful at this still.
Yes, he is. But, the problem is when you hinge all your hopes on one person.
Unfortunately.
She's competing in the semis this morning and then the final. And you don't want a situation where this person is under pressure. Because now nobody has delivered. We've not won a medal. And then it's like your whole hopes are on this person. That's a lot of pressure and it shouldn't be. But we're wishing Toby the best, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. Confirm what time she's going to be running, and then also, are we, serious if we truly were expecting a medal? Are we just being, optimistic?
When Toby ran the heat, she looked pretty good. She was smooth, and she's actually quite relaxed. She's not coming with a lot of pressure, I think. She's not putting that pressure on herself. So she looks very smooth, and she's definitely one of the contenders. So she's someone to actually watch out for in the 100 hurdles. That should be at about 11:05 a.m. Nigerian time this morning.
Yeah. Now, the optimism I was talking about was the Nigerian Olympic team generally. Do we seem like a country that has trained enough to guarantee medals at the Olympics? Or are we once again just going there, for the fanfare and, of course, with prayers and optimism?
I think it depends on the event. For some events, we actually had medal hopefuls like the women's wrestling. We had Odunayo Adekoroye, we had Blessing Oborodibo, who are among the best in the world in their events. In their categories. So in events like that, actually, we were right to expect medals. But yeah, there are just the few, and there are people like Toby as well, Ese Lovina. Unfortunately, Lovina has struggled with injury this year, and so yesterday, she could only finish fifth. But in the past, she's actually always produced medals for Nigeria. So in some events, yes, I think in a few events we were good to go. But for most, I think we actually have a lot of work to do.
All right. Yemi Galadima, we hope that the next time you're joining us, it will be to talk about the good news that we have gotten our medal. Thank you for joining us. Enjoy the rest of your time in Paris.
All right. Thank you.
All right, then. It's time to find out what the big stories making the headlines are, and we're joined this morning by public affairs analyst Razak Olokaba. Good morning, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Good morning.
The leader of the anti-protest protest.
Okay. Thank you very much for that.
We saw you and your team doing the anti-protest protest. So why were you people against?
We're against violent protest, and as you can see, what has happened in the world. There's a safety measure in anything you do in the world. You are free to drive your car on the road, but FRCM will say that no, there are safety measures. In protest, there must be safety measures, and look at what has happened today.
So
nobody is against. Till today, we didn't know who caused the shot on the protest, and that's a wrong protest. Protests go violent anywhere in the world, but one of the major indices that led to violence is when it's led by nobody. Falana came out, Anaguru came out. But today, Anaguru is one of the enemy of the protesters again. They have been calling him names now, just because he cautioned them. And that's the concern we have about.
So are you in support of the government's response to the protests so far in different parts of the country? In terms of, one, the president's speech, and the security operatives, especially those who have been accused of firing shots at protesters?
Both protesters and security agents should be blamed. Let's be. This is our country. Don't apply emotion. If you are toying with the kind of police we have in Nigeria, you should be careful when you are protesting. And I told you that my left eye cannot see again. It's police batting. If I close my right eye, I can't see with it's police batting. If you see any mark on my face, I'm a karateka, but I don't do contact back or combat. It's police brutality. So if you are guiding people not to pass through that terrain, you can make your point without getting yourself wounded. You think, I know at your own time. And there's not at your own time when people provide experience of what they have gone through. What they asked from the president is what he has given today. The president said, they said Ondonga. He said he's going to end hunger. What he's doing, he believes that he's going to end hunger. You have a responsibility to tell the president that your policy on hunger, A, B, C, D, we have a challenge over it.
So you genuinely believe that that speech is what the people asked for?
Yes, that's what they asked for.
No content. But they're saying that
in what they asked for, there's no content. And that's why I said, part of the thing.
Did you say there's no content?
Yes, there's no content. In ending hunger. How do you end hunger? And I said that the young people, at their own time, when I joined the first protest I joined in my life, which is sharp riots, it was an economic battle between the government and the people. It's not about school fees. I understand the implication of sharp. If you want to end hunger, you must analyze that your policy of not ending insecurity at farms cannot end hunger. To that extent, there must be state police.
Hold the thought. We're going to still speak
about...
None
of the things... apologies. Yeah. The president's response is what we're asking about. So now you're talking about security at farms and all of that. President didn't also respond with anything that shows that any of
the president believes what he's doing is the correct.
And he reaffirmed
it that I'm doing this, I'm doing that. You were protesting because the policies were wrong. Then you tell about the policies in specific time. See,
I think Nigerians
Nigerians
are tired of English and rhetorics, right? It's one thing for you to come out and give.
It's the protesters and president that are speaking rhetorics.
Sorry?
They are not speaking to the issue. The protesters and the president, they are the one talking to each other about rhetoric. So there's no specifics on both sides.
No, they were very specific.
I mentioned one specific.
The protesters were very specific. They talked a number of them. They talked about even with this fuel subsidy, which he probably.
Is that being specific?
Yeah, they were specific about what they wanted about that. You know what?
Yeah.
We will keep going back and forth, but we need to review the papers. And you're still going to talk about this because the papers are talking about protests. So let's start with the Punch newspaper. The hunger protest is the big story. Victims' families recount ordeals, demand bailout. Gombe Kano traders, Katsina churches cut losses, Borno families relieve pain. We also have here APC opposition dash over NLC secretariat invasion. Vehicles burned as gas explodes in Lagos filling station. Naira closes at 1,596 to $1 as forex inflows hit $25 billion. NNPCL demands 4.7 trillion naira petrol imports refund. Forensic audit of 2.6 trillion naira NNPCL subsidy claims still ongoing according to the fact panel. Dangote refinery designed to process Nigerian crude according to the CEO. And final story, federal government suspends registration for 40,000 naira rice. Why? We will find out shortly. Let's head to the next story.
All right, this Nigerian newspaper is coming up next. It says on the screen, NLC, DSS brawl over invasion of Labour office. You did it. No, we didn't. Labour leaders desert office aftermath of security raid. FCTA, ACCI partner to host 19th edition of Abuja International Trade Fair. Olympics, German team lends bicycle to Nigerian cyclist. FCT police investigates the death of Abuja cross-dresser. Tinubu orders clamp down on illegal miners across Nigeria. And also, Army recovers 238,000 liters of stolen crude oil. These are the stories on this Nigerian newspapers this morning.
All right, now let's head to the Daily Independent newspaper. On the front page of the Daily Independent, Ed banned governors' protest, condemnation trails raid on NLC secretariat by security operatives. Amnesty International says attack on civic space to intimidate union. Action, attack on rights of Nigerians, threat to democracy according to the TUC. We did not carry out any operation at NLC secretariat, said the DSS. Arik Air resumes services 8 days after operations were grounded. Lagos explosion not linked to NGML and NIPCO CNG stations. Tinubu directs security agencies to crack down on illegal miners. Again, CBN boosts FX markets with $876 million, commits to provide liquidity. 20 die as cargo boat explodes and sinks in Bayelsa waterways. Tinubu government adopting propaganda, misinformation as state policy, says Atiku. Court restrains PDP Damagum from conducting Congress in Benue. Party suspends Sushwam and others. Presidential speech, purported 573 billion disbursement to states, predates Tinubu's government. Dangote refinery supplies will disrupt Europe's oil and gas industry, according to OPEC.
All right.
All right.
Now, I want us to start with, before we get into the newspapers, I just quickly want to know, did you support the NSAS protest?
No, I can never support NSAS protest.
Why?
And I will never support it. When it was coming up, I said, okay, this is a concern raised by some of my people were there, people by young people. I said, okay, that's good. How can we do things together? I said, no, we don't even want to have any leader at all. We want to have a leaderless process. And that is number one restraint.
Do you understand the reason?
What was the reason?
Young Nigerians
They don't want to be arrested. That's the price of struggle.
No.
They don't want to be compromised. People get compromised now. 12% on Jesus was compromised. So because Jesus will abandon the work of God.
There's a long history of protests in Nigeria, right?
Yes.
There is a long history of these compromises that you've just spoken
because
about.
Of that,
there's also a long history of people being bullied out of the process. So do you understand when people say we don't have leadership, we just have demands, and we're demanding as the Nigerian people?
8 of us were supposed to collect some leaflet coming from overseas for Abiola's speech. 8 of us. 2 people went in, they didn't come. I didn't see them today again.
Okay.
The other set went in, we didn't see them today again. At Apapa Wharf, I was the third set. I didn't see them again today, 4 of them. Me and Dr. Matilari was supposed to be the third set that would go in. I said, I'm not going. That did not.
Why didn't you go?
That didn't, because they are dead. We didn't see them again.
If you
I thought you said there's a price to pay for protest.
What I'm saying is that no, you can't walk into debt now.
No, but you've said it now that there's a price to pay for your demands. So why didn't you walk into it?
That is exuberance. That's exuberance.
So isn't this exuberance?
No, that's exuberance. That's exuberance.
Listen to what I'm saying.
If you have me as your brother, when people get killed, if you say I should walk in, that's not struggle. You are not an activist.
You've had a history, because that's why I said
you are not an activist, and that's why in journalism, I won't argue with you when you are talking about your profession. See, exuberance is not struggle. When you throw stone at men carrying gun, it's exuberance.
So is it exuberance?
You want to make
so isn't it exuberance then? If we go by your definition of exuberance, isn't it then exuberance? If you then say these protesters should provide a leader because they are obviously now sacrifice potentially.
It is the leader that will guide them.
But why you were meant to be the leader to pick up the documents?
Are you bail?
Why didn't you?
Now, once the leader was giving instruction to go and pick.
So why didn't you go?
No, I went, and people were. We can't find them again. We were supposed to go. and they didn't come back. And I said to go. That what I'm saying. The point I'm making.
You go? That's what I'm asking.
Interjections will not this kind of discussion. The point I'm making is that does not remove me from struggle again. I say because of that challenge, I didn't see my colleague again. I didn't go. And in struggle, the definition of what you are asking me to do, if you're asking this young man to do, it's not fair. We are going to raise our own children too. I won't ask my children to go and be throwing stones at people who are carrying guns. It's not fair to be pushing young men. It is wrong. It is wrong to be telling young men. When you know the nature of police all over the world, in UK it's happening. In Nigeria it's happening. So you put caution on it. The Prime Minister speech, I've read it. He said you should do anything necessary to stop the protest. Who did not follow convention of protesting, which is violence. So for me, both the police on this note and the protester on this note, in the north particularly, are wrong.
What about in the south?
In the south, no, it was a bit, it was good, and that was what we did in the south, in Lagos here. We made sure that make your point, but you can't destroy anything in Lagos.
So why didn't
they made their point?
So why didn't you direct? Why didn't you direct that to the people who normally hijack the protest? If people decide that they want to carry out peaceful protests and they want to simply just march across different parts of the city,
you cannot blame a road safety officer if your car does not have a brake. You must put a safety measure in place. You must be
no.
There must be the first thing.
You can't
run away from that.
Listen.
You can't run away from that. This organization has a leadership.
Can I have my say?
Yeah. Okay.
Your stance, along with those who said say no to protest, were almost similar. But it wasn't.
I'm not away from it. I'm not away from badding me from who say no. I'm not away. I'm courageous to say that I don't support that kind of
let me
protest.
finish now. Let me finish. You've not even seen the protest. You're already saying you don't support it.
Yes.
They haven't even come out to say you don't support it.
Yes.
But listen, when you say you're along with the say no to protest, you're saying say no to violent protests or whatever, but you've not even seen violence.
What you want to eat and
what you're doing.
What you want to eat and
now, can I finish?
Nutrition will tell you the implication.
Can I finish? You haven't even seen.
I don't need to see when there's no leadership.
No.
Okay,
no,
so let's
hold on. You've not even seen that there is violence. So what you're saying now is that nobody should bother protesting, regardless of how they want to form or shape their protest. They shouldn't ever bother protesting if there's no leadership.
Yes.
But in a time when you had an opportunity to be a leader and bring documents for Abiola, like you said, you bailed. And so don't they have the right to also say that, looking at our own history, and we've seen the way that leaders have been treated when they lead the protest. If
you have a brother that is doing what we were doing that time, ask him to tell him the story of what we are going through, and you appreciate. Richard Ogunderu is in
nobody is dispelling what you've been through. You can't be the
by seeing death facing me. Your definition of leadership is that you go and face death.
No, but
we are the one that remove Gadifawa in me, Falana, Beko.
Okay.
When the protest gets to a point that this is becoming a risk, and we leave the spot.
All right. I think,
and that is the kind of picture I'm painting. That
I think that
I don't think
in the name of protesting, I will not risk the life of anybody. I have my children today, they are in school.
And that's
I won't ask them to join a violent protest.
That's a very valid thing. But I don't know if you're seeing the perspective that if you,
I don't think
if you
want to see it either.
utmost kindness to your family realize that you could not risk the life of your family members and your children to go for protest.
No.
Then that means
to go for a protest that is likely to lead to a violent protest. Any protest that does not have a leader is going to lead to a violent protest.
All right, we have a caller
from
Abuja. Chief Charles is calling. Let's hear from Chief Charles calling from Abuja. Good morning, Chief Charles.
Hello?
Good morning. Please go ahead.
Yeah, good morning.
Yes, please go ahead. Good morning.
My name is Chief Charles. I'm calling from Abuja.
All right.
I love your session so much. You are very, very straight in your analysis. But don't bring this kind of coward to talk to Nigerians.
Okay, Chief Charles, please, we'd like to please ask. Well, please, we'd like to please ask. Well, national TV, just be careful of our language.
He's a coward. He's not representing the Nigerians. When he's eating from Tinubu.
All right.
So don't bring in that opinion, please.
Chief Charles,
thank you for your call. Just to also please appeal to our further callers, that we should be careful.
I'm new to people like Charles, so it doesn't move me at all.
All right.
So it's not even a crime to defend the president. Yes, I'm proud to defend him. But I'm also courageous to tell the president that the party is towing, but this political structure will not lead anywhere. So if I've said that, if you want to engage the president, and I said that this is the wrong way to engage the president, including the content, we are here every day telling Nigerians that this security architecture cannot lead us anywhere.
Okay, can we ask you in your own wisdom, what would you say would have been a better way to ensure that the message is communicated? Bear in mind that this administration has been there for how long now? And we haven't seen all these policies that they have been talking about. The average Nigerian cannot relate because they can't even feed. So what would have been a better option for Nigerians to be able to communicate their displeasure to the government? And how would they have been able to ensure that these policies that you've been talking about are implemented so that the average person can see?
Let me quickly also make this point, that I never thought in my mind, because I knew as an expert that the first 1 or 2 years in office, there's going to be leave. I knew that in my mind and I braced up for it. And any Nigerian who is expecting me to say that after 6 months of either Obi or Atiku or Tinubu, 1 year in government, it's going to be okay. Either me or anybody.
All right. Let's hold on.
I think
we have a call coming in. Diokola is calling in from Ikeja. Good morning, Diokola. Thank you for calling. Please go ahead.
Good morning. Good morning. My name is Diokola.
All right. Please go ahead.
Okay. I think I want to ask Mr. Aluba. I don't know what's the name.
Mr. Olokoba.
Olokoba, yes. Razak. My name is Comrade Razak Olokoba.
I'm directing this question to Mr. Olokoba.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead, please.
Okay, please. In your years of experiencing protests in Nigeria, can you tell me any of the protests that we've ever had in Nigeria that has never gotten to violence?
Including the ones with leadership?
Even the one you said you did for Abiola.
Thank you very much. It was because of that experience everywhere in the world came up with picture of violence. And that was why a standard has been established that if you want to protest now, your itinerary must be stated out. There must be clear leadership. There must be clear leadership because
our guest our caller cannot stay on the line.
Okay, I thought it's done.
Let him just quickly. We are going to add some things to it, your caller.
Have you accepted that every protest has always led to violence in Nigeria, even with leadership?
Yes, of course.
Okay. So then why are you coming online on air to tell us that you need a leader to be a protest in Nigeria, that we have stupid set of leaders, we have stupid set of security apparatus, and you're still talking on national TV to tell us this kind of thing? See, by the time we are done in this country, men like you will leave.
No. Please.
500 of you cannot do it.
Let's not do that.
1 million of you cannot do that.
No,
please, can we end that call? Please.
1 million of you, because the views you are expressing is your view. There are millions of Nigerians who have similar view with what
just to mention to our callers, please.
So let me say it too. I live in Ikoyi. I can give you the name of my address.
No, please don't do that as well.
No. What I mean is that nobody can do anything to me. This is Southwest. We secure the Southwest.
You are free to express your thoughts and opinions.
This is Southwest. Any miscreant that come to Southwest in the name of pressure to destroy Lagos, we won't allow that. I know where they are coming from. We know their intention. Over 5,000 guns were seized by police in Lagos. And you say we should fold our arm and say that we should bring up people who have no leader, who have no face to wage our struggle. No.
When were the guns seized?
Our sweat is what got us where we are in the Southwest.
Can I please also ask? You just said now that
our sweat.
No, so when were the guns seized?
When were ask the police.
Just to quickly add, you said you know where they're coming from. You said you know where they're coming from.
It's in the media. Maybe you didn't see it.
All right.
Maybe you didn't see it. Yes.
Sorry,
maybe you didn't see it.
Gentlemen, hold on. Let's
maybe you choose the news that you want to read.
Hold on. We have a call from Abia State. Uchenna, please go ahead. Good morning. And please turn down the volume of your TV set. Go ahead.
Hello.
Go ahead, please.
All right. Good morning.
Morning.
All right.
All right. Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead.
All right. I'm just worried of that we still have people that can, defend the irrelevant leadership of this country, coming to the national television and be saying all these sorts of things. How can you just say that there is no leader in the protest that is going on? Okay. Does it mean that? Hello? Can you hear me?
We can hear you. All right, seems that, he's been disconnected. There are two questions, and I want to pick up from where Uchenna stopped. ever since we've been having conversations about protests, there are certain prominent names and faces that have been reiterated. Organizations, for example, we have the Take It Back movement. We have Enough is Enough. Omoyele Sowore has also, in a way, being a champion of this conversation. We had him on the show yesterday, and he hasn't shied away from being mentioned as one of the people who are, in a way, supporting the protest. Is that not leadership enough for you?
Well, if a leadership that gives instruction and they abide by it, that's what we call leadership. The lawyer of the movement said that at this point, you have to go back home. And did you see the response in the social media? And that is why, when there's a leadership, the flags that was raised in the north, the leadership would say that, no, we are not part of it. What the struggle is not part of, you'll be able to clarify. That is the essence of leadership. So that we will know people who want to infiltrate your struggle.
Right.
We will know people who want to use the name of your struggle to destroy the goal you are trying to achieve. You just want to make a point. You want the world, the people who are hungry, to tell the president that the line you are towing, you have a challenge with it. But when you don't have leadership, there are motives. And people will use that motive to decimate the struggle we are going. It has happened. And that's the reason why I'm saying there should be leader to give direction. NLC said...
Hold on. Let's apologies, Mr. Olukoba. Victor, go ahead.
Hello.
Morning,
Hello.
go ahead.
Go ahead. Good morning.
Hello.
We can hear you, Victor. Please go ahead. Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Victor. I'm calling you from Benin. And I just discovered the station and this morning I'm just attending your program.
Thank you very much.
At the point I meant you, the man with you there, the statement he made, the last statement, that this is Lagos. This is what we don't want. It's capable of generating bad blood. So if you withdraw that statement,
that was?
It's the height of bigotry. Then Nigeria today, what we are talking about is not whether it will be Atiku or those other people is expected to remedy the situation. That's 6 months. But what we are saying, as a manager, if you are transferred to a company to Kwan, no state and any company, that company is not expected to go down below the basis. Otherwise, they will fire you because you are expected to raise the standard at least. If we are doing in Nigeria as at May last year, where Tinubu took over, it's not the same.
All right.
We are not talking about slow progress. We are not protesting about maybe it's not doing that. A slow progress, but everything has gone down below how he meant it. So we should face reality and
all right, Victor. Thank you very much.
Statement. Thank you
for
so much.
calling. So he wants you to take back the statement in this Lagos, and I would believe that. Can you please hold on? I would believe that why he would say that is because we are currently at the brink of, some tribal bigotry that we've experienced, especially in the most recent times with the statement or the tweets by the account Lagospedia that called people to come out and protest and ask for the Igbos to go back, to exit Lagos, even though the Lagos state government has spoken against it, but the Lagos state government was also criticized based on the speed and the fact that nobody has been arrested yet. So do you want to take back that statement?
I'm not going to take it back because it must be a balancer if he wants to intervene on national TV like this. Someone on a national TV, on an international discourse, voiced out such things. And you didn't say that, I know this is a discussion, the guest should find a way of, and also the Olukoba should also try to look at what it is, anger, and in view of that, if he has done that, I'll do that. But if you think what the first speaker has said is correct, it is what I'm saying is not correct, I will not take it back. Okay. And also, I am the convener of the coalition of Odu Accept International Group. The heritage of Yoruba is important to me. Nigeria is an ethnic country. Anybody that wants to go to Igbo land to desecrate it, I'll be the first person to condemn him. If you go to the Igbo Fulani land to go, and I'll be the one to oppose it.
All right.
So anybody who's also coming to the southwest is the right.
We're going to take a call. But before then,
I
want to highlight that the thoughts that have been expressed and all the thoughts of News Central, they're the thoughts of our guest here, Mr. Razak Olukoba. We have our final caller, Frank. Good morning, Frank. Please go ahead with your comment. Frank?
Hello?
Yes, please go ahead.
Hello. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Frank. Please turn down the volume of your TV set and go on with the conversation.
Oh, okay. Thank you. I've done that. I want to toe the line of the last caller, okay? It should not members of ethnicism and the bigotry. When you made that statement that you knew where they are coming from, what does that mean? Who are the people protesting? Is it not Nigerians? People are suffering. People are hungry. And this is the reason why most of Southeasterners boycotted this protest. Because people misinterpret it. They always want to shift the blame to them and make them suffer unnecessarily. The person that called and made that comment was even from a Southwest. If you read his name, if you saw his name, he's from Southwest. Why is he trying to shift the blame instead of to face the reality? Even though it might be correct that if you want to have a protest, there should be a leader, but because they've known the system of Nigeria. Once leaders are identified, they will go after them.
Okay.
So that's why they went underground and went online to organize and do this protest. The government always, instigate all these allies to disrupt whatever people are doing against government, whether right or wrong.
All right, Frank. Thank you so much for calling, Frank.
Please, this is not the way.
Thank you for calling. We've just been informed that we have a little more time to take a few more
conduct
calls.
matters
But
a
you
lot.
know, I
you
think
should also
that
tell all of us that conduct matters.
I was going to ask this earlier. What Frank
matters.
says.
Conduct is very, very important.
No, but there's something that Frank said which I was going to ask. I got interrupted because a call came in earlier when you were saying that the police had seized about 5,000 guns.
Yes.
You followed up by saying we know where they're coming from. We'll not allow this happen in the Southwest.
Yeah.
Where did you think? What did you mean when you said you know where they're coming from?
Where's the report of 5,000 guns?
It's in the social media. Now, what I mean is that where they are coming from is this. The moment
did the Lagos State Police Command spokesperson or anybody say that they seized 5,000 guns?
No, when people came to my protest, it showed when the police were addressing us, we have to go back home. There were violence and things. So one of the media people that came also said that, of course, your protest was peaceful. You have made your point. In fact, look at the report we got. And I saw on his phone that many guns, about 5,000 guns were sold in the last 2 weeks, impounded in Lagos, in my rally.
So it was not in the news then?
Into my rally, it's a link that was sent to him. So I scrolled through it.
But is it confirmed?
So I didn't confirm it. I'm just using that to protest my argument my sister, where I say we are coming from is that we are contented people as an ethnic group. We are very, very contented. And the nature of where we operate here, where people can come here and prosper, is not stupidity. So when I say
people prosper everywhere.
Yoruba people, we are not stupid.
But people prosper everywhere. The prosperity is not restricted
to the South. And that is why anywhere you prosper, you must mind a few things we are going to say about your host.
It depends.
This is you in essence saying that Yorubas are hosting. So anybody who is here
should respect our culture, our value. And things you say about your host.
Okay.
All right. Hold on.
Things you say about your host.
Shay is calling us. Let's hear from Shay. Good morning, Shay. Please go ahead with your comment.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Shay.
I'm calling from Lagos.
All right, please go ahead.
Yeah, I think I completely agree with Comrade Olukoba. The probably 3 previous callers, I heard one of them calling him a coward. The other one said he shouldn't have been invited to this program.
And we just to mention that we double-checked that language is not allowed on TV.
That's an insult. He's entitled to his opinion. Even I did not support the protest. I did not. So nobody should come on the program and insult your guest there. And you want him to retract his statement. I stand by him. He's right. Nobody should come and intimidate anybody anywhere.
Thank you. I just want to mention to you as well that we do not support anyone abusing him, which is why we told people to please check their language. And to subsequent callers as well, please mind your language on national television. We do not in any way endorse or approve of using abusive language. But Mr. Lokoba, this narrative that you have just shared, in a way, something that we saw play a lot.
We have to talk about it.
We saw it play a lot during the elections, during the 2023 elections. And it fostered and furthered a divide. It furthered tribalism. And right now, that's not what we need. Right now, hunger is a major challenge.
Yes.
And hunger doesn't know any tribe.
Yes.
So I don't know that it's a good perspective for us to start bringing in tribal elements into the conversation.
And that is why I'm saying that to make your point, you must be careful not to be misunderstood by the person you are sending the message.
No, but that is you making.
No,
your
we
point.
have left that behind now.
No, you can make your point, and I agree.
No, what
that
I mean is
you
that
have
the
a
part you are, the question we are, I've taken it.
No. But
Now,
I'm
not going further about the question of leadership and conduct now.
Okay, because I wanted us to clarify that.
Okay.
That you can make your point about not being in support of the protest, but what we do not support or we do not endorse is then making it a tribal conversation.
Did I ever, since I've been coming here, did I ever go that direction?
No, but you did today.
And until this morning, it was the discussion that got us there. It was the response that got us there. And if you look at the pattern of people that have been calling, you will know that they are essentially not people who speak my tribe.
Hold on.
My language.
Good morning, Malik.
I know.
Can you hold on, Mr. Lokoba?
I know.
Good morning, Malik.
Good morning.
Morning, welcome. Go ahead.
Malik, please go ahead.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning. We can hear you. Please go ahead.
Good discussion. And I like to say that where we are today as a country. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Please go ahead.
Yeah, I think that we must refrain from very dangerous language. And that's my fear as we move on, particularly in this era of the challenges we have. The only reason I do not support the strike is because of the violence attached to it. We can see where it has led us to. If we look at the contrast of what has happened in Nigeria, northern Nigeria, and in the UK, you will understand that government infrastructure cannot be a target of strike and protest. Now, coming to Lagos, I don't think the speaker there understands the history of Lagos. When they say the culture, tradition, the palace of the Oba of Lagos during the EndSARS protest, who destroyed it? We were not outsiders. So I think we must learn to live harmoniously together. Southerners, Easterners, we help to build the Lagos you are in today. Most of the people making noise in Lagos are not from Lagos. So let us learn to live and be our brother's keeper. We do respect our traditions. So I think that the language is part of our biggest problem. The language we use, how we address each other, how we speak to each other, how we talk to each other, how we commend each other. It's a problem. Everybody's hungry. It's true. But are we sure that nobody will come on the streets and begin to destroy government property? Federal government built an ICT center as beautiful as it is in Kano. Look how it was destroyed. I'm not even happy it was built there. With apologies to my northern brother. It should have been, you should have taken over what we have in Computer Village.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot.
So I think language is part of our...
All right.
And I can,
I like what Malika said. I'm a learner. And you can search for me on Facebook and more literatures about Lagos. I've written 2 books about Lagos already, the history of Lagos. So I'm willing to learn more since he said that things.
No, he was making a point. There's a point. No, Mr. Lokoba, please.
So what I mean is that I need more literatures about Lagos. You can keep learning every day. I'm not.
There's a point that he's trying to make. Listen, his point.
I want to get contact with him.
No, hold on.
You are misunderstanding my point. No, that's not fair. No, that's not fair.
Okay, Mr.
I'm not being
Lokoba,
sinister about it. Honestly,
I felt you were being sinister.
No, I'm not being sinister. Okay. I read books every day. If there are things that last time Olokoba has asked my name on Facebook, I can tell you trust with him sincerely from my heart. I've developed this skill. What I've been doing for 35 years. So it's one police that called me a coward that I'll be angry with. People have called, government has called us. I was arrested. I've never seen $1 in my life. Policemen were asking me, where's the dollar pollution I gave you? I've never seen $1. Where's your international passport? So we have this skin both from the people, from the government. You are in the middle. You will be bashed. And we have realized that it is irresponsible radicalism to keep bashing the government, without providing a part out of the problem the government finds itself. Right. Which is why I said that let's have leadership. It appears at the beginning of the program that I'm the only person against the protest. But now, look at what people are saying about the protest. And we said the only way you can separate yourself from people who want to hijack your struggle is to have a leadership, so that the leadership will deny.
But that's the thing. And that's what one of the callers was pointing out, that we've had leadership in the past and it didn't stop the violence.
But we were able to separate ourselves from the people who are doing it.
What does that do? The violence is still there.
So that the government will know how to take care of them, that this is not part of your struggle.
But during the EndSARS protest, the people
there
who
was
were
no leadership.
yes, but at least you could tell that
I'm not talking about it on social media. Yes, I can give instruction. Look at what is happening to Onoguruwa now. Onoguruwa said that, see, this violence is not correct. And you started saying things about him.
All right.
Does that not bother you?
All right, let's take a call from Engineer Donald. Good morning, Engineer Donald. Please go ahead with your comment.
Good morning. Please, I want to make a comment concerning the speaker that is sitting there.
All right. Please be respectful with your words, just to quickly highlight that, but go ahead.
Okay. The caller there said something, said this is Lagos. And some persons disagreed with him. I am not disagreeing with him. I am not a Lagosian. In fact, I'm from Edo State. If you see a society moving forward, things are going well. People took responsibility. This Lagos that we stay, if people didn't take responsibility, this Lagos will not be like the way it is now. I've had cause to go to north, go to east. The behavior of the people there, I can tell you, the people in this Lagos, they are more accommodating, they are better off. Forget whatever they are saying. If you are in your town, you are a leader in your town, don't allow anybody to come and destroy it. Same thing with me. If I'm in my town, you cannot destroy my town. People took the responsibility of this Lagos. That's why Lagos is like this. For example, when you go and invest in maybe a place like Delta State, immediately you are arriving, they will start collecting money from you. But Lagos is not so. They will welcome you. The balance will even give you whatever you want and make you happy. By the time you start making money, it will demand for something that is very big. But those other persons, they've collected crumbs. So building your town, whatever it takes you to build your town, to protect your town, do it. Don't listen to whatever they are saying.
All right. Excuse me.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
I think it's important that we, and this is, I think, one of the challenges that we have with these conversations, the fact that everybody has their own way of framing their narratives. And they frame those narratives in order to suit their argument. It might be true or false. The whole, this is your town, protect your city, is created because of a narrative that, it paints protesters as targeting Lagos, targeting the destruction of Lagos, targeting the destruction of the Southwest and Yoruba town. But hold on, please. I don't see that as true. If there's going to be a protest, Mr. Lokaba, hold on. If there's going to be a protest, the protest is not because people are angry with Lagos. The protest is because they have grievances with the government, and that protest might be happening in Lagos. No, hold on, please. Okay. And that protest will be happening in Lagos. When there's a nationwide protest, it happens in Port Harcourt. Port Harcourt people don't say, oh, you're trying to destroy our Port Harcourt. You don't hear Benue people say, oh, we're trying to destroy our Benue. Oh, leave our Benue for us. That's not it. A protest is a protest, and it will happen wherever it will happen. When you frame it as targeting Yoruba people's land, and so we need to protect our land, that's a completely false and a different framing entirely.
My challenge your position at times is that it's your unbalancing nature of your position. Have you forgotten that we didn't wake up one day to say this? There were videos by Nnamdi Kanu that said, and all these things they mentioned that that should be brought down were brought down. You think you are going to forget that?
But if you're talking about this, let's not make it
destroy TVC. Destroy and you hold no that is
I'm going to end this conversation now. I'm going to end this conversation now. I'm going to end it because this is not how we intended for this conversation. It started with no.
They are dragging it towards that.
Mr. Olokoba, please. We're supposed to talk about the protest and why you were a leader of the anti-protest group.
Okay.
And whilst I completely agree,
I'm anti-violent protest.
Why I completely agree that you have the right to not be in support of the protest, or you have the right to take your people and go and do an anti-protest, anti-violence protest. Okay. It's also the right of Nigerians to take their placards and go out to protest. Unfortunately, protests are flawed with, irregularities. People would always try to use that as an opportunity, which is where law enforcement comes in, to be able to help checkmate the irregularities. What I will not encourage or what I will not agree with is us there making it look like it's a tribalistic.
So let's put that behind us.
Let's not bring.
So let's put that behind us. So let's move forward.
Okay. We unfortunately have we've not been able to go. So
let's move forward. Let's move forward. So on the protest,
quickly speak on the NLC.
NLC and the DSS.
I don't know why the security agent do this in a classified manner.
But they have denied it all. They said
people went there as security agent. That precision and accuracy can't be done by me or you. It's a precision. And if you have gone somewhere to do something, that is the problem of public officers, office holders in Nigeria. If you have done something wrong, you must be willing to say that, no, we got an intel that ABCD were here, but when we got there, it was something different.
So you believe that they're lying when they say they're not involved?
What I'm saying is that the challenge they have is not the public face of the DSS as a challenge. They must be able to come out. You are protecting them alive. You went there with an intent not to hurt anybody. If there's an error, you must own up. I'm not saying they are the one, but I'm talking about their attitude. That you have to own up that, see, we went there, and this is what has happened. So it's not late to admit that, okay, we were the one. And any agency that has been there, if it is not DSS, if it is the police, they need to own up.
Right.
They are doing it for Nigerians. Yeah, if there's an error, you will apologize. That's all.
Yeah.
No life were lost. Nobody was armed. You went into the office and ransacked the place. Then you are own up. That's
and the thing is, if they also claim to not be the ones, they should also be a part of the investigation to find out who did it.
Is it possible for some that kind of thing to happen that it's not DSS?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And so then we then find out
the DSS has said that they're not the ones.
It's getting late to admit. It should not get to a point where they will. And that's why the president must do something quickly about it. That this government is taking another identity to clamp down on people. It's not a military era. You must be able to say that, we are the one that did this. So that Nigerians say, okay, you are the one that, please do. If you want to do this kind of things another time, we run a country where democracy is in place.
Right.
In fact, there's nothing wrong if they told that we are coming to office to carry out certain investigation. There's nothing wrong about that.
Right.
So to wrap up well on the protest, I will never be against protest. But look at the coloration that it is having now. The essence of leadership is to be able to create a new identity, a clear identity for what they are doing. I commended the people who left Ojota and Ikeja and went to Ojota. They did it peacefully. And that's what we want. If it had been happened that way in another state, we won't have issues. So they will be able to deny.
But did they have a leader? The people that went to Ojota?
Ojota, they didn't have a leader.
Right.
So why did you support them? Why didn't you let them go?
I said their conduct was fine.
So why didn't you believe that the conduct in the other places were going to be fine?
The conduct where
in the other places was going to be fine as well.
That was why. See, if there's no leadership, you can't have 10 processes where there's no leadership, and out of that 10, you have one that will be distinct. The remaining 9 was trailed by that violence. That is what is likely to happen.
This is where we have to wrap up the conversation. But thank you for joining us. We've run out of time.
I'll always be here.
We've stretched longer than we planned.
Okay.
But thank you so much for joining us. And once again, we recognize that you have a right to choose.
Tell your callers, I'm not angry.
No.
I think everyone understands.
It's a conversation.
I'm not angry.
Everyone can have different perspectives.
Even the use of this. There's a passion there for Nigeria.
But then at the end of the day, we are one Lagos and
one Nigeria. Yes.
Right, thank you for joining us. We'll go on the break. Stay with us. A devastating fire explosion occurred at a Mobil Oil Nigeria Plc filling station in Ikeja, Lagos yesterday morning. The blaze started when a gas tanker exploded while discharging contents spreading quickly to engulf 8 vehicles, including the tanker, and affecting a nearby 2-story building.
Now, several individuals were injured and taken to the hospital for treatment. The fire has so far, of course, been extinguished, and emergency responders are working together yesterday to clear the scene and restore normalcy. Investigations into the incident are currently ongoing. And I think, we're going to say that we're happy that no life was lost. There might have been a few injuries here and there, but, it's something to commend the Lagos State Fire Service for responding quickly enough to protect all the private property that were around the petrol station. Kudos to them.
Well, indeed, kudos to them, and our condolences to those who have lost their vehicles, because now is really not even the time to start losing property. We're talking about the fact that there's hunger ravaging people. What the End Bad Governance protest has in a way morphed into becoming the hunger protest. And right now is not the time to be looking at losses, especially looking at the fact that some of these vehicles might not have even been insured. So what really is the hope of them getting, these properties replaced? Our heart goes out to the filling station as well. I'm hoping that we don't see more repeat incidences. But the good news, like you said, is no lives were lost and that it was contained eventually.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not if we have time for top stories, for the week, but I think I would just use my time to quickly speak on Razak Olokoba, and his time here, and to our callers mostly. I understand everyone is passionate about Nigeria. We have different ways of expressing ourselves. Sometimes, we go overboard. But I would like, to just remind our viewers, so please respect the views of our guests that we have here. We appreciate the time that they spend with us to have these conversations. Everyone has their own perspective with regards moving Nigeria forward. Like he said, he has, thick skin. I understand that, it happens every now and then, with him maybe. While I was in Enugu on radio, I remember that I also went through 2-3 years of constant insults every morning. But I always understood it as it's passion. Some people are passionate that way about Nigeria and they don't want to hear otherwise. So please, just a reminder to our callers to please always respect the views of other people. You can call in, you can share your thoughts, you can counter, arguments, but please, name calling is really not the way to do it. And, it's not welcome on News Central.
Right.
We really appreciate it if we do better. And we enjoy the calls. We really, really enjoy the calls. We enjoy speaking with you. But please respect the views and respect our guests on the station.
And that's really a great way to have had that conversation. I think my addition to that would be, even as we're all speaking about the protest, everyone is entitled to their side of the divide, whether you're for the protest or against the protest. But please let us not further the fires of tribalism. We're currently a nation that is plagued with hunger. We are fighting against hunger. Hunger doesn't know any tribe. Everyone feels the effect of what these policies are, and everyone feels the effect of inflation. So let's not make it a war against tribe. We saw what happened in Rwanda, and the way that they were able to get over the Rwandan genocide eventually is to come together as one people, the Rwandese. Let's look within ourselves as Nigerians, beyond the tribe. Let's get to the point where one day we can start to see ourselves as one. Then and only then can we be able to collectively speak with one voice. So please, even as we are all sharing our thoughts and our opinions about this, even as we are all holding the government to account, we must realize that we are first humans, we're first Nigerians before we're anything else.
The talk about tribalism, which I've always said is that one of the problems with it, with bigotry and tribalism is that when politicians use it as a tool to win elections, the problem with it is that you can't turn it off after the elections are over. You don't switch it on during the campaign and then right after you win the elections, you turn it off. It doesn't work like that. It spreads and it continues to spread. And I think that we should all be smart enough to understand that in every part of the country, there is a fair mix of every single person. There's Bini men like myself in Lagos. There's Bini men like myself in Jos. There's Bini men in Delta State and everywhere. The same way there are Yoruba people in every part of the country. There's Ishakiri people in every part of the country. The views that and that's why I spoke about framing earlier, that when people want to create a narrative to suit their argument, what they simply need to do is pick one tiny speck of an opinion and then blow it out of proportion and make it seem, it's called fear-mongering, make it seem much bigger than it is. Igbos and Hausas and Bini people and Ishakiri people have lived in Lagos and every part of the country forever. Since the start of Nigeria, they have always lived and cohabited, like brothers and sisters, coexisted rather, brothers and sisters. There has been no issue. The fact that you had one person on Twitter make some very crazy statement, that person should be arrested, doesn't necessarily mean that there's one tribe that suddenly wants to take over your town. It is dangerous to take the view of that one singular person and frame the whole tribe or the whole religion that way.
And just to ensure that we're still following up with the story, we hope that more investigation is done regarding Lagospedia and that some arrests need to be made so that we don't tear each other apart. But that's all that we have for this week on Breakfast Central. Thank you very much for joining us. We'll see you again. And as we wrap up, we'll leave you in the hands of Declassified. Declassified is coming your way today, launching at 6:30 p.m. on our YouTube channel, that is News Central, and all our social media platforms. I am Olive Emodi.
And I am Osaogi Ogbawa. Remember to join Judith and Mazino tomorrow on Breakfast Extra.
But for now, Jude Bella brings you Declassified. Take a look.
Is profiting from these financial outlays. Banditry and kidnapping in the country have turned into a lucrative venture. Could it be that some of the sponsors are truly closer to power than we initially imagined? A former government official was not ashamed to publicly declare the efforts he and his friends did put together to do a GoFundMe for kidnappers? Why are we feasting with our killers instead of bringing them to justice? What is to stop these bandits from roaming the streets when they know that instead of bullets, they will get bags of money for taking people hostage? Schools are no longer safe. No region is safe anymore. Who is profiting from the insecurity in it?